Hello, I'm Margaret Kepner, and I'm a mathematical artist. The short name for this conference is G4G13. Are not loud? Okay. And I saw 4, I saw 13, I put them together, I got 52, and I thought I want to design a deck of playing cards. It's lucky that's always been on my bucket list. I've always wanted to do that. So I put together this as a kind of a motivation to do that. This talk and my exchange gift will be a progress report on how far I've gotten in this endeavor. So a standard deck of cards we're familiar with. There are 4 suits, 2 are red, 2 are black. Each one has a distinctive shape or symbol. And on the number cards, you get whatever that number is, copies of that symbol. So for example, on the 5 of diamonds, you get 5 diamonds. And these are often or sometimes called pips. So each card has a number of pips of the number in the upper left-hand corner. So I had to choose my own suits, and I had to follow some of these rules, but I will bend some of these rules because that makes life fun. Okay, so these are the suits I came up with. I have knots, I have circles, I have triangles, and I have tiles. So let's see how that works. With circles, the idea is packing. The concept here is going to be to pack more and more circles into an envelope. The 1 is pretty easy. When I get to 2, I have some choices. I could pack equal-sized circles, or I could use ones of variable area or size. And in this case, I chose a solution that has a small triangle with area 1 and the larger triangle with area 2. So how does the card come out looking? Well, the ace and the 2 you've already seen. And when you do the 8 of circles, you get 8 circles packed into the envelope with that feature of areas going from 1 up to 8. Here the pips are circles, but they have different sizes, and their arrangement depends on the efficient packing that they express. Next suit is triangles. And the concept here is going to be geometric dissections. And the idea is to cut the triangle up into pieces, and not just any pieces, pieces that can be used to form another polygon or polygram or some other shape. So the 3, for example, you cut the triangle into 3 pieces. They're starting to explode a little bit there, but you can probably think how those could come out to be a trapezoid. The 6 has 6 pieces, so now the pips are not uniform, they're not the same size, but there are 6 pieces there. And the claim is they can be rearranged to form a pentagon. So here's the proof without words of how an equilateral triangle becomes a pentagon. Okay, the next suit is called tiles, so far. And it really could be called polyforms, because this suit is going to have polyforms created with different initial tiles. So some of them are based on the square, and I use that as the symbol for the suit as a whole. And we have the monomino with 1 big square, and then for the 5 card, there are 5 pentominoes. We know there's really 12, but I've chosen 5, and for a reason. But not wanting to have everything be based on the square tile, I didn't think that'd be so interesting. So here, for example, is what we could do for 4. These are tetrabolos or tetratans, and it's made of, each of those figures is made of 4 45, 45, 90 triangles. Okay, another suit is knots. And some cards just make themselves. The 7 of knots card knew exactly what it wanted to be. There are 7 knots with 7 crossings. So there they are. And now the pips are these little knot diagrams. Okay, I had to cheat a bit on the ace because there are no true knots with 1 crossing. So I used the unknot and put a twist in it, so it appears to have, it does have 1 crossing. And when I get to something like the 3 of knots, there is only 1 knot with 3 crossings, so I have some ghost knots above and below it. They're flipped, and so I can have 3 pips on the card. Okay, now that's kind of the sketchy description of how the suits work. I need something for the back of the cards. So I found this self-similar substitution rule that takes 13 copies of a triangle and makes a similar triangle out of those 13 copies. So that's the rule, and we can iterate that. If you take the triangle on the right and make it the little triangle and then tile that arrangement of 13, you get the next iteration, then shrink that and make that the little triangle and put it down on that plan. We get the 3rd iteration, and I make it black with white lines, and that is what I cut out and used for the back of the cards. So this is a nice pattern. It's probably a little hard to see on the screen. If you look on your tables, there should be a couple of these cards that I've done as a test, and you can see the detail and the patterns that that forms. So here's a recap of some of my
30
sample
seconds.
cards. And thank you. I forgot one big thing. I forgot something. I haven't shown you any face cards. So this is a problem I'm still working on. So I'd very much appreciate anybody's ideas kind of to stay within these suits and produce something that might be not quite like the number cards, but might suggest a face card. So there's my contact information. And I'd love to hear from you if you have ideas. And there's some references for people that want to know more about packings or one of these other topics. So thank you.